Welcome to the Rotary. It's a great day to be a Rotarian, and it's wonderful to be a Rotarian that we serve to change lives. That's our theme for this year, and I'm going to try to remind everybody of that every week. Here's my list, sorry. Prayer, David Weiland. Pledge, James Adams. Four-way test, Larry James. And the song, Debbie Sickles. Would you please rise?
Phone vibrating. Father, we just come to you now, thankful for this day, a night of rest in the light of a bright new day, a bright sunny day. We realize that you've made this day for us, and we're going to rejoice and be glad in it. We just pray for Rotary International and our generally and this club specifically, that we go about serving others, living up to the motto of service of ourselves. Do it cheerfully, and pray for wisdom, Father, and guiding us into the various projects that we need to accomplish. We just thank you for this food that we have before us, and the way that we're continually blessed, not only by food, but all the blessings of life. We thank you for Jesus Christ. In his name I pray. Amen.
Would you join me in the pledge of allegiance to the flag of this wonderful country we adore? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will you please join me in the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do? First.
True.
Second.
Fair and all concerned.
Third. Fourth.
And we want the birthdays up here for August. If you got a birthday, come on.
She has a birthday.
Come on. This is my favorite. Come on, that's right. Come on, get up here. All guests are included in this.
I had a birthday last month and I wasn't here.
Come with me. Come on.
I'll do it.
Come on. David's was Saturday. Bonnie Dooley's is today, or excuse me, the 16th. David Ellis's.
I know he's in here.
You're gonna stand in for you?
No, I had
your birthday too.
No, I had my birthday last month and I wasn't here, so I was gonna.
Oh, you want to get up here? We're gonna sing July and August birthdays. Anything goes at this Rotary Club. Come on. All right. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you, you and you. Happy birthday to you. Yay. So there happened to be two that were standing right there. I've already asked them to fill out applications.
Other than my 3-year-old granddaughter, that's the only happy birthday she's celebrating.
Yes.
Okay, little house cleaning. Y'all silence your phones, please. Please check into the Rotary. Reminder, the district governor's visit is next week. The board, please be present at 11:30, ready in the conference room. Y'all been seeing these pics. Kim gets me in my mouth all the time. Brad did the same thing. I'm like, come on, I'm gonna pose next time. Okay. So the district governor, Max Duplant, will be here. The board, please be ready in your chairs to go at 11:30. She wants to meet with us for a quick, brief meeting prior to our meeting at noon. If y'all do not know, and especially for our new members, when the district governor is introduced, you will please rise to greet her and applaud. And now that was just a little housekeeping because I want the phones turned off. Come on, Sergeant at Arms, let's do some happy bucks.
All right. Is anybody happy? First, I'm gonna go to Miss Kim. She has a happy buck in here.
I just have happy bucks. I'm
You
happy
just
to be
happy
here.
buck. Just happy to be here. Anybody else have anything to be happy about? Okay, Miss Lori.
Let's get in now. Okay. If you'll notice on the back of your calendar, if you got one, I started putting in the satellite club members, so that we know who they are. So
I don't have them all handed yet. So.
yeah, we'll get them there.
Thank you, Lord.
Well, I'm happy happy because our only full-time employee just came back to work from being sick from COVID, so.
Oh, wow.
That's really something to be happy about. Anybody else happy? I got David. Wow.
Annette and I are not gonna be here next week. That's not why I'm happy. I'm happy because we're gonna go to Florida, to Pensacola, to visit with, Annette's brother and spend a week down there. So I'm unhappy I'm gonna miss next week, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Plan vacation, family comes first.
All right, here we go.
I'm just happy to have folded money.
Just happy to have folded money. I hear you. That is something to be happy about.
I'm happy tomorrow we're gonna go see, a Ray Labyrinth concert. My wife gave me a Christmas present for that, a casino over in Grant. But, Union Pacific has restored an steam engine. And anyway, we're gonna get to see it come through, so that's cool.
Steam engines are fun. If you've never been through the rebuild facility that's in Chattanooga, if you're ever there, go. It is fabulous to see what all they do with those old train steam engines. Debbie, Katie, David, as y'all well know, have cleaned out the front room up here. And in the last couple of weeks, David and I have finished up the heavy stuff. We have 2 desks that we would like to give away. We also have a piano. It's an electrical plug-in piano. I'm not quite sure how it works, but we have a piano that needs to leave the building as well. One of the desks is sitting right inside the room up here, and everything else is out in the hallway out here. A pair of my furniture dollies are under the big desk. You're welcome to use them. We do need them back to move the other stuff though, once you're through. So let us know, let David and I, or Debbie, or Katie, whoever, if you want any of these items. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. We have another happy, just happy man.
Just happy. Glad to be here.
Just glad to be here. I hear you, Larry.
First of all, I want to thank everybody. We've launched the PB&J for the month, and Authentic Life Church brought us like about 100 jars last week to the office, so we've got a good start. We'll probably exceed the 500 that we gathered last year, and then with everybody else bringing. So if you don't bring them up here, bring them to my office. And then September 3rd, we're also sponsoring it again in our office, the Carter Blood Drive, and I'll email everybody if they want to donate blood again. September 3rd on a Friday. They're not doing the free antibodies, but you get a free t-shirt honoring September 11th. It's kind of neat. Yeah. And then one more thing, I've been gone for the past 2 weeks for Rotary. I was on a trip that was awarded to me as a salesperson. I've been in the insurance business 20 years. I've never had enough sales with any one company because I write for a lot. So anyway, this one company, I wrote a bunch of sales year before last, and last year's trip was canceled. So they took us to Beverly Hills, which I would have never paid money to go there. so it was free, but it was an experience.
Yes.
I love where I live.
Yeah.
And so we're blessed to be where we are. Really quick, we were in the bar and we bought 2 little margaritas and a little bowl of French fries, and it was $60. And we still hadn't eaten dinner.
Were you at the Westin?
We were at the Four Seasons. So anyway, it was insane. And then lunch one day at a Mexican restaurant down the road, we had 2 meals. 2 little margaritas and a bowl of chips, and it was $97 for lunch. And so we couldn't wait to get home last Wednesday, and we went straight to Mariachi's and had 2 margaritas and walked out and dinner and walked out for $30.
I know that. Not including the tip.
No, not including it. So we are blessed to be where we are, and I'm happy to be back.
Yeah. I understand. I got to see it. That's that was so funny. Anybody we have any more happy people? All right. Our president. Oh, you can
Yeah, I do. Well, I am very happy. I heard my mother went to the emergency room this morning. She got really sick. They don't know what's wrong with her. She has had the COVID shot, and but I just heard she is very alert, and I just got that word, so it makes me happy that I'm all in your prayers.
Yes.
Okay. Sure, I'm gonna cry at every one of these meetings, but sometimes it hits. We got a beautiful thank you card I'd like to read. Dear members of the Noon Rotary of Greenville, thank you so much for your generous gifts to both the Dallas Symphony and the Greenville Entertainment Series. Bill loved being a part of both organizations. He thought that both enriched the city. Bill enjoyed the Rotary and the thought that it helped so many people. Thank you again, Gail. That was from Gail Rost and his wife.
Good.
Okay, so District Governor, let's do our PB&J so we can, like we always do, bring it up here so we can get a picture, and then.
Well, can we pull our lucky winner first?
And, oh, I'm sorry, here it is, passed you up again.
That's
Come on,
okay.
girl.
That's okay.
It's because there's nothing written on that. I need to start writing them on that.
There you go, sweetie. Will you give me a ticket out of there, please,
Come
ma'am?
on, Dina, Debbie Sickles, here we
I've
go.
got a lot of friends in here.
I know.
I want to keep you.
No, let me. I'll do the honor. Thank you so much. All right, everybody. Anybody want to go walking after midnight? We'll pass and say hi. Okay. Lucky number is 822.
Yes.
Woo-hoo, 7.
Yes.
You got an 8?
Yes.
What about another 8?
Yes.
Oh, it's spirit. Oh, only kidding. All right,
And this is one where you, when you volunteer in the Rotary, these are my tickets, these are mine.
Oh, okay, cool.
When you volunteer in the Rotary, you're still able to purchase tickets. It's
Yeah.
not like, you know, when you work somewhere and you can't purchase tickets or work or gamble. If you work at the casino, you can't gamble at that casino, that kind of
Well, don't worry about it. I took things to spade out, so we all winners. Lucky baby. All right, baby girl.
Do we know how much money's in there?
$1,456.72.
Wow.
Cowboy and
No.
diamonds.
Oh,
That was close.
a diamond winner. See you guys next week.
Someone remind me what Happy Bucks were for. Oh, Tools for Schools?
No, for the
Oh, yeah, the new satellite club. Oh, I knew that, and I'm so sorry. I should have dug a little deeper. I believe Katie's sending the application to International. Secretary and Treasurer are getting them added. And I just think we're doing a marvelous job. Our next meeting, you'd mark your calendars, will be for the Tuesday, September the 7th. Tuesday, September 7th. And again, I'm gonna remind my president-elect and president nominee that I will be on vacation on the 25th of August. So either CJ or Kami will be directing the meeting that day. And that, I believe, is it. We have our Trina Coldiron. She is our vocational chair. She has a vocational program for us today with our Rotary members. This isn't something new. Basically, it's vocations. She's gonna select a vocation. I don't care if it's a doctor, it's a dentist, if it's an attorney, if it's a banker, if it's volunteer organizations, builders, contractors, printers, it doesn't matter. Oh, and insurance. Whatever it is, that she'll pick 3, and if we have available dates in a month, we hope to keep a few, but Dwayne, our program chair, did a marvelous job of booking out our programs way in advance. So we might just have to do one every now and then, but we're gonna try to do this. So Trina's got her order going, so Trina, you can come up and introduce our programs.
I'm not gonna go out because I still got a bum knee.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Just
yeah,
grab
she
it.
fell the other day. I fell.
Oh.
It's not good to get old and fall.
Okay, so we thought that, what'd you say, David? What'd you say?
I said, you don't know the half of it.
Well, the lady, Diane at work, she said, you know, I hate to tell you this, but you're getting up there in age and that knee's gonna bother you from here on out. I was like, thanks, Diane. Appreciate the vote of confidence. Okay, so I thought with the first one, because the hot real estate market right now, that we would have some of our wonderful real estate agents come talk to us today about how their industry helps our community. So we're going to have Annette and David Wyland, and they are both with Century 21 Patterson Agency, and we're going to have our past president, Mr. Larry James with Century 21 First Group. So I'm going to have Annette asked to go first, so I'm going to let her go
Trina,
first.
go ahead and tell the other Rotarians and the name of the other Rotarians that are realtors that are in the room, as in fairness.
Okay, who are the other realtors? Because I don't know. Do we have any more? I don't think we have any more here.
Okay, what about in the room?
Well, I'm sure there's, I didn't.
Denisha.
Oh, Denisha Denny.
Who else?
She is, we've got several. I would encourage you to get on the Rotary, contact list, and it should have all of that listed.
Club Runner.
Oh, Club Runner.
And
Or
it's on
it's
the
on the back.
back.
So you can look at that.
Oh, yeah, no, she's not.
These were the three that responded to me, okay, guys? So, don't get your feelings hurt, okay?
Well, maybe I'm not using them. Let me use this one. Keep my
And
hands
thank y'all
free.
for being the guinea pigs, thank you.
You're welcome. It was short notice.
No,
I found
it
out at
was.
6 o'clock last night.
You're filling in.
Yeah. Of course, my industry talk's gonna be about real estate, and specifically in Hunt County, and specifically in Greenville city limits. I've had 20 years of experience in the market, and quite honestly, and I think all three of us will say this, have never seen a market like what we've had over the past 2 years. It's crazy hyper market, and it's a seller's market. Have any of you been involved in a real estate transaction in the last 2 years? Colleen, Dwayne? Craziness? Were you sellers or buyers? Sellers?
Selling, I currently have mine.
Okay. It's not uncommon, especially in the Dallas market, to see people offer over $100,000 more than list price.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
We know of one for sure that has happened. I have personally had one here in, was in Rains County, but it was a waterfront, and it went for, about 40,000 over. Now, they did back it up when they had the inspection, but it still was 15 over list when it all settled out. So it's just crazy. I was working with a buyer in Rowlett, Wiley area, and have written 15 offers for him, and we haven't gotten one yet. And going way over list price, paying for the seller's title policy, paying for anything that they could pay for. And it just takes luck of the draw, really. They're looking at multiple offers in every scenario. Some buyers are even waiving their termination option period, which is a time when they primarily have their inspections done. And they're just saying, I'll lose it if I don't waive that. But the biggest one that is scary is that there is a form, and I think it's a newer form within the last couple of years from the Texas Real Estate Commission, that is an appraisal waiver, a partial or a full appraisal waiver. And what that does is, if the buyer signs that, they can either elect to say that they are going to not terminate if the appraisal does not come in for the price of the contract, or that's a full waiver, or if it doesn't come in at a certain point, like they'll go up $20,000 above the contract price or list price and say, if it doesn't appraise for at least this much, then I'm going to terminate. But they're basically just saying, I will take it no matter what. And it's not a lot of fun for the realtors. It's difficult because you are competing with so many people. There are currently 241 active residential listings in Hunt County, ranging from 69,000 all the way up to 4.9. But in Greenville, there's only 72 listings. That may sound like a lot, but it's not. That's only 1.9 months
of inventory. And that's where our problem is, supply and demand. We do not have enough inventory to satisfy all the needs of the buyers. And to find a house under 150,000 or even under 200,000 is so challenging. There may be 2 or 3, and they're hardly even habitable. So it is just I keep saying crazy market, but that's really what it is. From July of last year, houses have sold for 96.3% of the list price. This year, they are selling for 100.6% of list price. Some are going over, obviously, and that's fine. The days on the market in our industry, from July 19th until current, it was about 34 days. It's now 8 days on the market. So when you put your sign out front, you have to have somewhere to go.
I know it.
And
Go stay with you, yes,
many sellers who would ordinarily probably put their house on the market are not doing it because they don't have anywhere to go. They would end up spending all of the extra money they make on whatever they buy, unless they go into a suppressed market or something. And there are some people that can sell and go live with a family member, or they're going into assisted living or something, and for them, they're making a good amount of money. But for your average person, you're going to be spending everything that you get. So, does anybody have any questions?
I do.
About this?
And you may or may not know the answer, but all these new homes that are being built, do y'all have access to sell those, or is it geared to one realtor there?
No, generally, there'll be a realtor that's on their staff usually that has the listing, and they take that listing at a very reduced price because they get multiple homes, maybe 100 homes, that they get to list. And it'll be put on the Dallas-Fort Worth MLS system, so any buyer's agent can work with them and sell the house.
'Cause I'm curious to know, where are these people coming from to
Yeah,
buy
that's
these
what
new
we're-
homes that are being built? You know? I know they're not from here.
No, it's very much the Dallas market coming out our way. Rockwall, Forest City,
Are they coming out from other states as well?
yes, California,
Yeah.
Utah,
Yeah. That's what I.
the West for sure,
Yeah.
because they are making
Mm-hmm.
money on these little shacks for $400,000 and then coming here and being able to buy
Pay cash.
a mansion.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Is that why the apartments are so big? I mean, there's hardly
You
any.
can't find a rental home
No.
that is reasonable here, and apartments, I'm sure the same. I don't know that market, but Dwayne?
So what happens when you've got somebody that's going 100,000 over the list price? They have to pay that in cash if it doesn't freeze?
Yes, their lender will not loan any more than what their original loan was written for. And so they have to agree to come to the table with that much additional cash.
So you said 96 or something percent last year, and then 100 and
Mhm.
something percent. What was 5 years ago when it wasn't this?
I didn't look at that number,
I'm
but
just
I would
curious.
say probably 90%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We bought
I
ours
just-
about 5 years ago. They were still on the market about 3 days.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really, this has been going on for 2.5, 3 years, but it's just gotten so much crazier this year. Bob?
There'll be a point where the market gets saturated here. I mean, they're building houses like crazy.
Well-
They're building a house on Templeton that you can spit from the front porch and hit the railroad tracks.
Yeah, doesn't matter. Right now, buyers are so desperate for property that they don't care. And the fact that they're paying overpriced, it's gonna bite them eventually, unless for some reason this market can keep going up. And our interest rates are so low that that's also feeding this.
And we also still have land out here. So there you go.
We sure do.
And you're talking about people that are used to living this close to each other anyway, so they don't care.
Yeah.
Thank you, Annette. We appreciate you. Mr. David, come on up, friend.
All right.
You want this too? There you go.
Well, Annette and I work together, and she's concentrates on residential listings, and I concentrate on lands, farm, ranches, and commercial, though any licensed realtor in the state of Texas can sell any of that, including commercial, lease property and all of that. But that's just my concentration, and it's kind of a different widget, especially when you're selling commercial. I just closed on a commercial transaction last week up in Leonard, and it was a gas station convenience store, and it took me about 4 months to get it closed because of EPA inspections and on and on and on and on and on. And there, it's just a different deal. And to go along a little bit with what Annette said, last Friday afternoon at 5 o'clock, I clicked activate or active on a new listing I just put on in Grand Prairie. A friend of mine moved and he wanted me to sell his house. $400,000, 1985 house, 2,600 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, with a very nice pool. In 5 minutes, I had the first showing. Saturday morning, I had a full price offer. Saturday night, I had a second full price offer. And the seller and I decided to wait until the weekend before we responded to anybody to see how many more we got. We got 2 more, and all of them full price. And so I issued out a call to them and told them at 5 o'clock in the business today, give me your highest and best offer. And I haven't checked that email, but there's going to be more. They're going to increase their price because everybody's got to have a home. And that's the reason they're buying houses in locations that they ordinarily wouldn't select. It's just a lot. And you was asking about, you mentioned houses that over 200,000. A few years ago, I sold some houses that Al and Tammy built, and they built a quality house, but they're on the smaller side, 1,200 square feet. I was selling those houses for 130, 140,000. Those same houses now are 225, 230.
Wow.
That's how the market has gone up. Plus, these cost of materials have gone up unbelievable. So it's all happening, and you can't get materials. I know we were delayed on a closing to do because we couldn't get a refrigerator or some appliance, or dishwasher or stove or something. So all of that's impacting the market. But as it regards land, we're seeing prices that we never thought we would ever see. I wrote an offer last night, 124 acres at $14,070 an acre. That's 1.8 million, and the guy's paying cash.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna meet with my folks tonight. I think they're going to accept the offer. But that's just an example. It's good-looking land. It's organic, been organically farmed. It's got a couple of houses on it. I'm not telling you who it is because you probably heard of some of them. But that's just an example of what's going on. I closed 3 weeks ago on 19 acres on 513, 240,000. It's just land. And people ask me all the time, well, what is land going for an acre? That'd be like going into Britton Chevrolet and going up to Brian and say, how much is a new car? He would say, well, which one? Which model? How many options do you want? I can't answer a question like that because it depends upon the location, what the land looks like, if it's in floodplain or not, does it have ponds, does it have good fencing, what kind of grass does it have? And those are the kind of things that I think I know a little bit about. And so I have to evaluate a property when I go on. And I pulled a few statistics off of the MLS system. If you know how, you can pull a lot of statistics from the MLS system. And what I've done, I looked just for land. It's a category on the MLS called lots and acreages, and that's all kinds of lands, ones without a house. And I did a search on the time frame of the past 12 months in the state of Texas, the county of Hunt, and that's all. I didn't put size of lots, size of lands, or anything. And I looked in this graph. Now, of course, we can't show it up on the wall, but you can see how the graph is right there. That's the past 12 months. Well, the highest, there were 77 closed land transactions in June of 2021, this past June. That's a lot of land transactions, just land on it, no house, no building on it. And then in July there was 38, and it starts going down, and then August doesn't show very many because we're just in the beginning of August. But there's already been 18 sold in the month of, closed in the month of August. So you see how that goes up and down. Then I looked at one called Historic Price Trend. It's still the same category, and it's from, well, no, this one went back 10 years, January 11 to July of 21. Again, Hunt County, and just lots and acreages. This represents 3,531 listings. But look how this graph goes.
Oh my gosh.
That's a 10-year graph right there. With the highest peak of historic sale, these are average prices, by the way, because we've got lots that sell for $15,000, little small lots. And then we've got ranches that sell for millions of dollars. But $170,000 was the average price in January of 2019. It has come down a little bit since then. Then I thought it'd be interesting to see the difference between the original list price and the sold price. And I didn't realize this until I looked, and this is over a period of 12 months. But you can't hardly see that the blue represents sold price, the green is list price. But look what happened in August. Thus far, we're selling land more than it's listed for. Just like we're doing houses. But back in July, we didn't. We sold it for less than it was listed for. Then I've got one more, original price versus sold price. And here is a 12-month report. It's a graph, and you see that we're selling for more than it's listed for. And also I get asked, well, how long is this going to last? Well, I don't know. I can't imagine that it keeps on. We've got a fiscally irresponsible federal government.
Yes.
And that's going to, right now, the reason it's continuing is because interest rates are so low. But interest rates have got to start coming up. There was $4.7 trillion spent last night. 3.5 on the federal budget and 1.2 on an infrastructure package that contains very few infrastructure items. Now, when we see that kind of fiscal irresponsibility, the economy can't maintain itself. It will start to come down. Now, when you look at a graph of real estate sales, and I don't care what period you go over, except for the last couple of years, you're going to see it going up and down, up and down. Now, we've been up here, we haven't even plateaued. It's still going up. But at some point in time, it's going to come down, but I can't tell you when. I know people are making money. We've got one client in our office, not my customer, unfortunately. Last year, we felt like he netted $3 million on land sales, buying huge parcels of land, parsing them out, then selling the smaller parcels at a much higher price. If these big land investors, if they can find a couple of thousand acres with roads all around it, where they don't have to build roads at their own expense, they can start dividing it up in smaller parcels and doubling their price per acre. So we've got one guy we think made $3 million last year. Just doing that. Now, he had a lot of money to start with.
Yeah.
I know how to do it, I just don't have the means to do it. But if any of you do, come see me, I'll show you where to go. But there's people making a lot of money in land. They're buying land just to hold it. I get calls all the time. I had one last week. Friday, I took a guy for a ride. We went out to Cumbia and looked at land. Then we went to Miller Grove and looked at some more. He just retired. He's from Taiwan. He says, I've never lived in the country. I want to buy some land, have a place to go to on the weekend. And we were looking at $300,000 or $400,000 pieces of property, and that's what he's considering doing. Hasn't bought it yet, but he will. So, and then a lot of people that got money want to buy it. They see what land is doing, and they want to buy it and hold it. It's a smart thing to do. Any questions? I've given you a lot, even in spite of being a Southerner. I can talk fast when I try. Any questions?
Next candidate.
Okay, Larry, you're next.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, David.
By the way, we don't care who makes the sale. We've got one checking account.
Wow. So 3 realtors in a row. So you'd think we'd have something different, but we all fight the same battle all day, every day. I'm different than these two. I'm a full-time agent, but I've taken a job as an office manager, so I get to talk to everybody in our office. So I take a phone call the other day, and I'm gonna touch on what y'all just said. This guy's a property, he's looking for a lady, and he's trying to get a value of her property. He's in California, and he says, well, your land out there is what, $2,500, $3,000 an acre? I'm like, let you talk to a seasoned agent, because they're fixing to correct you. He was doing a financial planning for a lady that owned property between Neelanville and Campbell. I'm going, just tell her to put it up for sale. I know 20 or 30 agents that sell that stuff for, so they don't have a clue in California what our land's selling for here. But what I'm gonna talk about is the dark side of real estate. Yeah. We do property management out of our office. I'm not the property manager. Bob's back there shaking his head like, no, we don't want no part of that. But most realtors stay away from it because it's a nightmare. Most brokers don't want any part of it because it's a nightmare. But in Greenville, according to the 2019 census, over 50% of the properties in Greenville were lease properties, which is a scary thought. Out of that 50%, 26% of them were apartments. You know, so the rest of them were duplexes or some little multifamily fourplex and rent houses. All that is being managed by somebody, either by the homeowner, and I have a friend that's got 35 houses, and I think he's nuts, except when he goes on vacation.
Yeah.
And I have a friend that's got over 100. I know he's nuts. But it's interesting because, you know, the question came up a while ago about where do these people come from? They're building new houses. Where's all this? I pulled one neighborhood, checked 20 houses, looked at the tax roll to see where it went. Out of the 20 houses, 90% of them were not taxed in that address. So they're lease properties. That was in one neighborhood. So that goes to show what we got to go on here. So the interesting thing, in that same 2019 census, the average lease price was $900 a month. That was average. So I went in and I'm like David, I like to pull stats. So there's 3 pages of this that are the last 90 days of full leases. On the last page, it's kind enough to break down so we don't have to do all the math and tell us what the averages are. The average is $1,385 a month is what we average a lease for today. 2 years later, we've gone up that much. So not only is sale property going up, land going up, but leases are going up also. You know, and the interesting thing, I can only speak about our process. I don't know. I know what my broker does in Sulphur Springs, how he leases his property, totally different than the way we do it in our office. We require everybody to come in and fill out an application. We give them this beautiful application. It gives them all their requirements. I find that most people don't care what you write down here because I get to see them every time they come in the office. They have a question. You know, we ask for stuff like a non-refundable application fee. We charge $40 and our property manager gets charged $38 and some change to run a background check. So she makes about $1 for her time. You know, but people want that money back if they don't get her. Well, we spent money, but we sometimes give it back. It's part of it. You know, everybody wants to know, why didn't I get that? Why was I not chosen? Well, we run that background check to check their financial, what is their credit rating, what's their past rent history, how have they been evicted, and we also run a criminal background. You'd be surprised at the quantity of people that seem to leave that off their application, that they've been arrested and been sentenced for something that, you know, and if you're not filling out the application, we look at it like, what else aren't you telling us correctly? So we kind of mark that on the side. You know, like to say, but that background check is so instrumental to saving that property owner from having somebody in their property that didn't really need to be there. We had one, and it was 2 years ago before I took this position, and I hear this guy screaming at the 2 girls in the front office. He was a registered sex offender, and he was upset because he couldn't live across the street from the school. You can move there, but Greenville PD is gonna move you out pretty quickly, you know. But he was mad, and then he realized that he blew up because he failed to write something down. You know, he did call back and apologize, which was good for them. They were accepting. It was great. They were accepting to that. So you think buying and selling a home's interesting? You should put a property on the market to lease for $850 a month.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
These two here, they'll gripe about, we got 5 or 6 offers on that house. We're getting 12 to 15 applications on every house that has to be processed, has to be gone through. You look at everything, and with that, our property manager, she pulls her hair out because our phone rings. Okay, I put my application in on Wednesday at 12. I'm calling at 4 o'clock and checking to see if it's been run yet. That's just what we deal with on a daily basis. It's kind of cool. And everybody wants to know, well, I put mine in first. Why wasn't I the first one chosen? Well, first, if you would read the application front page, it's based upon your credit history, this, that, and the other, but they don't want to see that, so that's part of it. You know, it is a quick process to run that, but when we have two that are really close, she won't choose them, she'll call the property owner and discuss with the property owner because ultimately, it's his property. We manage it for him, but it's his property and he has to make that decision. And that's the reason it usually takes us 5 or 6 days to get something leased, which is, makes the phone ring an awful lot. I get to talk to a lot of people that are really upset with me. You know, the interesting thing, for those of you that know people that lease properties, I want to say, please have them talk to someone in person or find this company and make sure they're real. We've had several that have called up and they find an application online on this very strange website that nobody ever heard of. And they'll submit an application on it and pay an application fee. Well, it doesn't come to us, it doesn't come to them. We don't know where it goes. So what we've ran into is people call and they're like, well, I put that application in online. In our office, everything's done electronically by email, or you bring us a paper copy. We don't have an application fee where they can go out to a website, put an application in, pay all their fees. And it really is creating some problems and some animosity between people in our office because of things like that. You know, and that leads to a whole separate set of problems because we're running into places that go out and they'll pull a for sale home. If David's got a house or Annette's got a house up for sale, they'll pull it out and all of a sudden they rewrite this listing as a lease property. They put a phone number that doesn't go to the brokerage firm, which is illegal by the way, and they're having people contact them via email, and then they'll send an application to them and they'll send an application. Oh, you've been approved. You need to pay this, this, and this. And I've talked to 2 or 3 on the phone that have actually paid money to these people and realized when they go to a different website, Zillow or Trulia, and see that that property is actually for sale. And they've called the police and the police tell them that because of the fact that everything's done anonymously online, and these people are changing email addresses and IP addresses all the time, it's really hard to trace. So we run into instances like that that make things really tough that we run into on. That was mostly last year when COVID hit, when everybody was locked down. They took advantage of people. You know, there's always somebody doing that. What we're seeing today is homeowners that have had properties for lease that have decided because the market is so high, they're putting them up for sale. They still have tenants in there. Now these tenants are freaking out because that homeowner sends them a notice and goes, you got 30 days to move, Debbie. Well, in that 30 days, you have to find a property. So, as of today, in Greenville, Texas, there's 7 properties for lease. What most people have done is they've locked in their lease years ago and it just goes to month, and they're still down at that $800, $900 a month. The cheapest one today is $1,100. And I think it was it's a duplex on Pepperport. It is a 3-2 with a single car garage, but it's $1,100. And it goes up to a house on Thibodeau that would 2 years ago was 1,500, it's now 1,750. It's just amazing what's going on. You know, so these people are freaking out. Property manager sat on the phone with one Saturday that cried for 10 or 15 minutes because she didn't know where to go. Mary actually found her a house and got her somewhere to live, but she just knew that the buyer was coming in and he's fixing to tear down her house. So things like that make it tough. But what we need is the property managers and the individuals that own these properties are making it able for people to live here at an affordable rate. They don't have the ability to go out and get a loan. They don't have the ability to, or choose to. I've talked to engineers that don't want to move. You know, they want to lease a property, but that keeps people living here, shopping locally, and being in our community and serving our community. So we want to keep them up. So thank y'all.
Thank y'all so much for doing that. I appreciate y'all so much. And I learned a lot. And the main thing I want to say that I learned from these three is that just like in any other field, everybody specializes in something. So if there's a certain need for you or your family or your loved one or a friend or a neighbor, get with these people and find out who specializes in that area, because they can either point you in the right direction or do something like that. So anyway.
Y'all just learned why I do that, now I don't do property management.
That is correct. That's the reason Larry doesn't either.
Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all.
See, as Rotarians, we cut you off pretty fast. You got one chance for a question. Come
One
on.
question. On your application, being that you're doing it via electronic all the time, so therefore you never really get the person, you know, do you ever get the person to see and apply?
They can fill it out.
Dr. Sutton? Yes. Okay, but y'all, you know, like, that question, just text it. That's a red flag if they answer. So we encourage them to, say, we'll discuss. That's what I always tell them, we'll discuss. Because sometimes we see it and we just automatically think it's a big deal. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay, please don't forget, next week is our district governors meeting. The board, please be present and in your chairs at 11:30. Afterwards, Katie is calling a CPC meeting. You guys were exactly a month away next week from the Cotton Patch Challenge bike ride. I would like my greeters to be here, but someone needs to probably fill in for Annette because she will be in the board room. James, you normally get here, you're a greeter. Would you and Byron want to greet next week?
He's gone next week.
Oh, you're gone? Would you still be able to greet next week?
I will.
Okay, do I have another volunteer to greet? And Bob, okay, and Bob, okay, perfect. Okay, so we'll have our greeters.
And Annette won't be here.
Oh, well, that's right, Annette won't be here, so, yeah, I got Annette taken off, so we're at Bob. James is one and Bob is one. Okay, don't forget, setup and cleanup crew is under David, and David has, absolutely Kim and Annette here to help, so if anybody can stick around and help, make sure you bust your tables, help, put the flags up, put the boxes up. We'd always appreciate the volunteers. We thank all you Rotarians and serve to change lives. Don't forget your peanut butter and jelly next week. It'd be awesome to have our district governor maybe getting a picture with that. And I'll see you all next week, and that is Rotary for today.
Thank you. Take care, Jim. Tell Jean hello.